think that is good to share my experience and my knowledge with people as I can, of course, through this Zoom or discussion. And for us here in Africa, it's good to, I mean, communication is exchange. Life is exchange. So I talk, you talk, and we can see if we can share something. I mean, our experiences. And yes, before the Bwiti, of course, I'm in Gabon, and here in Gabon, with the colonization, we have the Christianism. So I was first Christian, and I practice also by the past the Buddhism, and with all the experience I had, I realized that okay, this is good. Maybe it's also to try something. I mean, more, and especially for Gabonese, for African people, more ancient than Christianism and Buddhism. And for us here in Africa, the tradition is really connected to the beginning, really, because the relation with the nature, it's really totally different. I mean, you have a practice, and this practice is related to the nature, and there's different stories because Bwiti Missoko is not only one story or one thing. What people call Bwiti is like what as I say, is a constellation. And there's many over stories inside the story. It's not only one, it's like different planets related together. And this is really interesting for me as human to see. And this story is talking about, I mean, these stories, different stories, is talking about the humanity. And before the humanity, the universe, God, entities, and many things related together. And you can understand through the different stories the link between human, the nature, and the universe. And for me, this is interesting because most of the time when people talk about the Bwiti, they just talk about the iboga or these things. Iboga is just one of the elements that we use in the tradition. It's not the only one. There's a lot and a lot and a lot of things, of course. So if you have any question about it, so we can talk. So this is just an introduction before to talk about many things. And of course, I'm open to answer to different questions if people have questions. And I think that you have so many questions. So yes, this is Coco. So this is my first as an introduction.
Cool. Aténougha, do you think it would be possible to bring the phone a little closer to you just so that we can hear you more loudly? Yeah, that's even better.
Like that, c'est bon?
Yeah, I think that's better.
D'accord.
Okay, so thank you for that introduction. And now let's open it to everybody else so we can continue the conversation, but we can also hear from you about what you want to hear about. So would anybody like to just raise their hand? And you can use the raise hand function at the bottom and ask a question.
There you go.
Okay. So Richard, you can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask.
Hi, Aténougha. Sorry if I misspelled it or misspoke it. My question is, what is the essence of the practice? In other words, the invocation or the intention. Is it invocation or is it intention you go into in terms of imbuing yourself in the practice?
I used to say, I think that there's in the world, in life, in the universe, there's different levels of things. And when I hear someone talking about something, I can feel, or yes, feel the level. And this kind of question, it's interesting about intention, for example, about invocation, because we are directly inside the ritual with this kind of question. By the way, what's the name of the...
Richard.
What's your name?
Richard. It's just embedded with my last name there in the spell out, but it's actually Richard.
Because I can see you in the screen, so this is why I ask. Okay, yes, Richard. Now I see you. Yes, Richard. Yes, I say it's a good question because it's inside the practice. For me, it's good when I answer to a question to put people inside the context. Because when you talk directly about invocation or intuition, it's good to maybe before to talk a little bit about the ritual of the Bwiti and what it is. It's like any other ritual in the world. And for me, for example, when you do anything, even cooking, you use many elements to prepare your food, cooking. And you have some people, they are like masters, just cooking, prepare the food. And the way they do, for me, is like a ritual. And it depends, because sometimes you can see some masters, they are good, really good. And it depends of course, intention, the idea, when they do it, the intention. When you do something with good intention, people can feel it. This is about intentions. Invocation, it's a level up. You have the intention, after you have the invocation. It's like you want something coming from inside of you. You put a direction and you say, I want this. You can call the fire, you can call the water, you can call the ancestors. Invocation. This is inside a ritual. The Bwiti Missoko, of course, you have different parts. And I don't know if we will have time to talk about all the parts. But inside the ritual, when we start, of course, it starts with the intention to do something. And inside the ritual, for example, in Missoko, is not a secret. You have a special part called mo. It means calling the Bwiti. When you call the Bwiti, you do the mwau. It's about invocation. And this part is really one of the most important part during the ritual of Bwiti Missoko, the calling of the spirit. So this is a big, big part inside the ritual. And this part, our ancestors, when they discover this technique, because for me, all the ritual, this is why I talk about cooking. There's many techniques inside inside all the program. So you have many techniques inside. And the ritual for me is just many techniques together. And inside techniques of the rituals, you have these techniques to call the Bwiti. And our ancestors, when they would discover the power of the invocation. It can be it's a prayer, but it's a strange, a specific prayer. And when our ancestors, you, me, everybody, ancestors of the human, when they start to understand how it's important to think about something, to realize something, and to think about it, to invocation, to call, they start to share. And you have invocation in many other rituals or religion. Like Christianism, you have invocation. In the Muslim religion, you have the invocation. When they start to call people to come to the photo to pray. And in the Bwiti, because this is, from the origin, really, you can see, when you see how people do in the African tradition, you can see that it's coming from really, 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 really far in the past of the humanity. And this part, it's a special techniques to call the spirit. And when you hear how they do here, how we do here, you can hear something coming from really, really far in the past. And this is one about invocation also when you are alone, not in the ritual. You can call, you can pray inside, but you can do the invocation. But the ritual is not only about intention and invocation. Bwiti Missoko, it's also about practice. Invocation is a practice. But in the ritual of the Bwiti Missoko, you have the element that you use, mineral, animal, vegetal. You can use everything. And you have the fire, for example, that you use, the instrument, music instrument that you use, the dance, the songs, all participate to the ritual. All the elements participate to the ritual. So here we talk about ritual, not only about intention and invocation.
Thank you.
Nice. Somebody else, do you want to put your hand up? You can ask a question. There were a few questions already asked in the intake form, but I think it's nicer if you can ask directly.
Thank you so much for being here for us, and I want to thank also Coco for organizing such a beautiful meeting. I would like to know if you can talk a little bit about the exorcistic part of the ritual. So, the exorcism.
Sorry, could you say your question one more time, Giovanni?
I would like to ask the master if you can speak about the exorcism in the Bwiti tradition. So how the transformation of negative energy can happen through the ritual, or invocation, and the sacred medicine.
C'est bon, Coco?
Yeah, did you catch that? The question is about how does the tradition handle?
Yes.
You got it. Okay, cool.
Yes. Hello, Tertius. Yes, about the question of Giovanni. I'm here also to explain a little bit the difference between our tradition here in Africa and I think many other tradition and religion. It's important to see the difference. For example, in our culture, the way we use the way people use the word exorcism, we don't really have it, Giovanni.
Okay.
This kind or this kind of word in our culture. And when someone has a bad spirit, okay, when we feel that, oh, this person, all that he does or all that she does is not normal. So first we have to do the divination to see what is the problem. What is the problem? What he or she is like that. So before to do initiation, before to do spiritual work to someone, we have to do the divination. I mean, it's like a scan to check where it come from, where it is, where it's come from. Like a doctor when you go to the hospital. So when we do the divination, we can see the vibration coming from the side of your mother, or the vibration coming from the side of your father, or if it's coming from friends, boyfriend, girlfriends, or something like that, before to try to treat you, to try to find a solution. So if most of the time here, it can be a bad spirit, it can be something someone sent to you, because you have different entities we can send to people to attack this person, kind of bad spirit. This kind of things, yes, we can remove it, bad spirit, but we don't use the word exorcism, for example. It's good to clarify these things. And we have different, because here we use a lot of different people who use what we call the black side of the knowledge, the dark side of the knowledge. You have people who do this kind of thing. So when you go to nganga, if he has enough knowledge or the level, he can remove the spirit from you as is possible, because sometimes the spirit is really connected with the person and it's difficult to remove the spirit. Sometimes it's really difficult. And you have to do a big work, and sometimes you have to do an exchange. If you want that the spirit leave the person, you have to do an exchange. Then the spirit can move. If not, the spirit continue to stay, because there's a really deep connection between the victim and the spirit sometimes. And especially if it's something coming from the family, this is really difficult, because the link between the relation between people inside the family, it's really strong. And you have people like that when they are connected with, they are like a vampire. So they use the energy of people. They use it. And to remove this kind of spirit from someone, if you don't know how to do, don't try. If not, you will die. We can say, yes, it's like exorcism, but most of the time is inside the family, or from a nganga, or if someone want to do something bad to another person, he can go to a guy who knows how to send a spirit to someone else. But in this kind of case, it's easy to remove. But if it's inside the family, it's more difficult, because the connection, the link. So yes, it's a little bit like exercise, but here we know that is a mauvais esprit, a bad spirit. And it's like we remove a spirit from someone. This is our kind of exorcism. And we have different techniques inside a ritual to do it. And when people come for initiation, me, inside my community, before to do the initiation, for example, we have to do a kind of protocol to remove many bad things around the person before to do the initiation. We have a preparation because sometimes there's a lot of, bad vibrations around the people, and before to treat, to give the medicine, you have to secure your ritual.
Thank you so much.
If you want to know more about your, maybe, excuse me, Coco, sometimes if someone has a question and maybe you want to know a little bit more, or maybe you want to precise your question, please, you can let me know.
Yeah, does that feel complete, Giovanni, or is there a follow-up question inside that?
I'm reflecting because I received a lot of information already, so I was a bit curious about the divination side you were talking about, because I can imagine, but I don't know what is it exactly, the divination. It's a kind of scan.
Yes, the kind of scan is like, this is why I gave the example of the hospital. Before to do something, the doctor, when you go to the doctor, is not, a doctor, you have to check before to say, oh, you have this problem. No, you have to check before. This is how it is. But it's a spiritual technique, of course.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Cool. Mel, your hand is raised. What's your question?
Hi, thank you so much for being here and sharing. I'm quite ignorant on the culture and topic in general, so I'm really excited to learn. And I think what, like all religions and cultures, so you've brought up Christianity, is typically, a way of life or a way of being, existing in relation to the elements, the world, to others around us, that kind of signify that we are a part of a specific culture or religious group, or just a culture. So I'm wondering if you could maybe talk a bit about what that is, and in relation to Bwiti, the way of life, and what that means to you, and whether initiation with the medicine is kind of like the rite of passage into joining the culture or religion. I'm not sure how you would term it. And then likewise with kind of culture and religion, there's often, you walk in that way for a desired outcome or a goal in mind. For example, with Christianity, you might say that people are walking a certain way for the ultimate goal of reaching heaven. So, I wonder if there is something like that in the tradition. Yeah, that sounds a bit complicated. I don't know if that makes sense.
Kathleen, can you hear me? Can you help me, please?
Sure. So if I understood well, Mel, and you can correct me, there's a question around in religion and culture. It's like when you get initiated into something or you join something, it's like you're joining that culture, or the spiritual process means that you step into joining that culture or that tradition. And does initiation in this context also mean that you're joining something, that now you're part of this tradition, you're part of this culture? And then also, is there a purpose inside of this tradition where you become enlightened, or you become awakened, or you, I don't know, transcend something? What is the goal, or the kind of path people are on inside of the tradition? Is that right, Mel? Did I get that right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. Does that make sense, Aténougha?
Thank you. Yes, of course. Thank you, Coco. I like to, when I talk, I like to use example. For example, I speak right now. I try to speak in English, and when you learn, for example, this is an example. When you learn English, you have to try to understand the culture. I mean, from another country like England, like USA. You have to understand about the culture of a different country. It doesn't mean that you will become, I mean, American or Englishman, but you have to understand the element of USA or England. If you want to know how to manipulate the language, you have to understand the culture, the element, the reality of this language. And then you can manipulate it, the language. For me, the religion is a little bit like that. If you want to know about the church, if you want to know about the Muslim, you have to understand about not only the religion, but also the culture. So for people who want to get initiated in the Bwiti, for example, they have to understand the element of the culture, of the tradition. But it doesn't mean that they will become African. If they want, they can, of course. But they just need, like me, to understand how to use the English, English, and to talk with other people. For me, it is like that. Someone can come from Japan, from, I don't know, from Turkey, Turkish, or any other country, USA. And he want to learn about the tradition. And after 1, 2, 3 times or 3 years, like Coco, you can use the knowledge in another reality because you already have, you have the base. There's no pact, contract that, oh, you have to do things like that, only like that. No, the only ones, the most important things for us when people come to get initiated into Bwiti Missoko, for example, is to respect our tradition. Like, don't do this kind of thing out of Gabon. Don't do this kind of thing out of Gabon. Like, don't use our ritual in this or this way. This is the only one thing. You can use the knowledge as you want, but please respect our tradition. Don't try to do things like it will be a shame for us to see someone using our tradition in a really bad way. But it doesn't mean that you are a prisoner of something. No. Bwiti Missoko is to awake people. It's something to be connected with yourself and with the universe. It's a technique. We can share with people this technique to open your mind, open many things out of you, to see your life differently and things like that. But it's not a prison, no.
And
Thank you.
how would you describe like the purpose of why people get initiated? Or like, is it for something, or where are people going in this process?
I used to say, Coco, I used to say that for me, the Bwiti Missoko is like a microscope. Now we know more with telescope and microscope. You can use the Bwiti in like that. I mean, you can understand more about you to go to the future, or you can understand more about you when you go to the past, to see your life, to understand the present, to see how we can do. It's an instrument, it's a kind of tool, a box with a lot of tool inside. So it's up to you. If you want to go in a direction, and this is why I say to Richard that the question is good, because it's about your intention. What do you want to do? There's many ways. It depends on you. We just gave you the basic element. When you have it, you can use it as you want. Just respect our tradition.
Cool. Anna Marina, you have a question.
Yes. Hi, Coco. Thank you for organizing this moment. Hi, Aténougha. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. I wanted to know more about the lineage of Missoko tradition, its origins. If you can talk more about it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Anna. When you say Missoko lineage, it's good to talk a little bit about the stories. I told you that this tradition, for me, what is interesting is the story, not the story, the stories. This is why I say it's like a constellation. Inside the constellation, you have different stars or planets, and each of them, there's a story. For example, what we call Bwiti. Bwiti is a word like people use to say, "Oh, I'm practice the Bwiti." But which one? Bwiti Missoko. Bwiti Missoko, you have Ngonde, Myoba, Mabundi, Busuka, Sengedia. Different branches. And each of them, there's a story. And all of them, they are the children of the Disumba, the mother. The mother is the Disumba, the original Disumba. And the Disumba, there's a story about the Disumba related to the beginning of the universe. By the side of the Disumba and the Missoko, you have the left, Mwiri for the men, special initiation for men, and the Niembe, special initiation for women. And the left, there's a wonderful story about the left, of course, and the Niembe, there's also another story. So when people talk about the lineage, inside, for example, the Missoko, the lineage is about people, the story of people, but the story of people, all the story related to the Missoko, Bwiti Missoko, is connected to the mother, Disumba. And this is how it is. It's science coming from ancestors from generation to generation. It's a transmission verbal, only oral transmission. Generation after generation after generation. And when you start to hear, we can say knowledge, but the story of the beginning of the world, you say, but our ancestors, African ancestors, they already have the information about the knowledge that you can read in a book. But it's coming from ancestors only by words for many, many, many centuries. So the lineage is about the stories of people who transmit the science. And you can receive the information when you are inside the Bwiti, for example, Bwiti Missoko. And then when you go to the Bwiti Disumba, then you can understand, you can hear the story of the beginning of the world. And you have the lineage. And when we talk about lineage, we have the three, this is not a story, a secret, the three first stories. There's a lot of stories, but it's inside like different ritual, and it's really interesting because it's not like a fake or something like imagination of someone. It's not like a branch of some religion. No, it's stories of humanity. Not only for Africa. No, it's about humanity.
Aténougha, the signal cut out for just a second there. You said something, there's three something? What did you say? There's three
First tribe.
three first tribes. I see. And then they have stories. The stories come from these first three tribes. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
So it's good to keep that the lineage is not the lineage of only about one person. In Africa, in our tradition, of course, sometimes you have someone in the lineage. For example, in the Bwiti Missoko right now, we have this association. Now I'm in the office of the association, Mahanka Bansambe. And inside, now, because it's a new organization, we have this organization, it's one of the biggest in Gabon, about Bwiti Missoko. And inside, we have this organization now. If you want to become a member of our association, it's good to know where is your lineage. For example, Coco, me, and all the people, even Dara, we are in the we are in the same, for example, lineage. Okay, this is the one of the lineage, but this lineage is inside another lineage, is inside another lineage. This is how it is, the lineage. It's not only the lineage of one person, no. It's the lineage of people who are related to the beginning of the science. So we don't talk only about one lineage of one person, no. We talk about lineage of people who are connected to the beginning.
Cool. Let's take another question. Richard, you got another question?
Yes, thank you, Coco. Continuing with the I words of invocation and intention, let's go to induction. Does the ceremony also, or the practice, try, or as part of its ritual, induce some sort of a trance state or ecstatic state as part of the integration with the ritual?
The what? Excuse me.
Does the ritual of Bwiti, as it progresses over its several days, does it induce in its process a trance or ecstatic state in the participant to try to kind of connect with that story in the process? Is that part of the ritual?
In the Bwiti Missoko, no. There's, of course, there's over branches who has this kind of trance or things, but not in the Bwiti Missoko. No.
Okay, thank you.
Can you say, Aténougha, anything about ecstatic states? Like high intensity or aliveness that moves through the body?
I don't know if ecstatic is the correct way, for example, to talk about it, because during the process of the initiation, of course, you are in a special condition because the medicine that we use and the process, the ritual, it's a combination between the element that we give to the banzi. The banzi is the person who want to to do the initiation, who practice to become a new person, like to rebirth. And it's a combination between the iboga, the medicine, and the ritual. So this is like a special condition to open what I call Stargate, to be connected with the universe. This is a special moment, of course. So you are in a higher vibration. But I don't know if ecstatic is the word that I can use, for example.
Yeah, that's a good clarification. Yeah.
Thank you. It clarifies it quite a bit. Thank you.
So Eva and Adi, I don't know who wants to ask the question, but your hand is up.
It's me. Good evening. It's Eva. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much for being here for us tonight. It's an honor. And I would like to find out a bit more about the iboga treatment and the fact that it is now becoming very popular, if not to say mainstream. The world is starting to talk about it more and more, and the iboga treatment is being offered now in different places around the world. And I would like to know how you feel about this, how you view this. I read a lot.
So Eva, your connection seems to be a bit
iboga now as a zoo for people of the plant being okay. Must I repeat?
Maybe just the essence of what.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can, but maybe just at the essence of what you're wanting to ask.
Okay, I want to ask how you feel about this. If you feel that it is respected enough, if iboga is the origin is not mentioned, Gabon is not mentioned, it's always just about the plant, and if you feel that the plant is being honored and respected, and if the ceremony is maybe not honored the way it's supposed to be in other places in the world, I don't know. And how would that affect the treatment for people? And I would also like to know if it is sustainable, if there is enough iboga to go around the world, especially for what is coming. Thank you.
It's good to hear these kind of questions. What's your name, please?
My name is Eva.
Eva. Okay. By the way, Coco, I don't know if you can realize that now the power is half. So you are Gabon. This is how it is. It's not easy all the time. They have this kind of situation all the time. They cut the power. I mean, something for 3 or 4 hours. So, okay. I like this kind of question as a Gabonese, as someone who practiced the Bwiti. I'm happy to see that people can be interested to our situation, how we see these things. So, 2 months ago, there's American people. They come here to organize an international conference about iboga. Now people talk about iboga more and more and more. There you have people who practice, I don't know, kind of treatment out of Gabon, and we don't mind if people use iboga out of Gabon. Our only one problem as people practice the science of the ancestors, is when people use it and they try to do something like a fake thing. If you are a doctor and you want to use iboga to help people, why not? Okay. But if you try to do kind of ritual with iboga, but it's not coming from, the science of the ancestors, we say no. And when you use iboga like LSD, you have people, they use iboga and they think like it's like, I don't know, like a drug. It's not a drug. It's coming from a science. And if you respect our science, we are happy. We want to share, but we want to share it in a good way. If people respect our way to do, we will be happy to share our knowledge with people. And you're right about what people do now, how they do with iboga. They don't talk about Gabon. You're right. When they talk about the plants, they talk about the plant. But where it's come from? Who revealed the plant to people? Is our ancestor. They gave the information to people. But it's difficult to see somewhere article about Gabon, about the Bwiti, about the ancestors. They don't talk about it because they know why. And this kind of thing, we are not happy. But how we can do? We are in Gabon, only 2 million people. And the person who practice Bwiti, we are not so many. It's only maybe 10,000 people, something like that, maximum. So it's difficult to resist front of people who are from big nation with a lot of money and power. It's difficult. We are realists. We don't try to say, oh no, don't know. We just say, excuse me, but please just take care about our story. We can just talk as we used to say. Last time we were invited in Quito by IMCF, and after the president went to Aspen in Colorado for a conference there, and 2 months ago they organized a conference, international conference here. But now with Nganga Manzambe, last year we decided that this year in 2026 we will organize the first national conference. The first national conference. Nganga Manzambe want to organize the first national conference. It will be a conference only about the position of Gabonese people, local people. Will talk about these things, how we want to do with iboga, and what is our position as practitioner, as person who are, the descendant of people who reveal the iboga to the world. What is our position? And we'll talk with the government and all the institution, national and international institution. So it will be the first time, and we want to do it. So we start to talk with all the people in Gabon before to organize it. Nganga Manzambe and our partner, like BOTF, we want to do this kind of thing, because we know that if we don't try to talk together, it will be difficult to resist from people who have a lot of money and power. So thank you for your question. And our position, of course, we are a small country with a small population. It's difficult to resist. So, but we know that we have these things coming from God, and we count on our ancestors and on, of course, like people like you and the universe to help to save our tradition.
Can you also speak to the question of how much iboga there is, and if there's enough iboga for everyone?
Of course, it's really difficult if people try to have iboga at the same time all around the world. We can, but now we try to convince people that it's good for Gabonese local people to planting iboga. But it's really different planting iboga and using iboga like we did by the past, because by the past it was like it could come from the nature. You don't need to planting iboga. You just go to the forest, you take a little bit and you use it. But now if the factories or big pharma or I don't know try to use a lot, it will be difficult for the nature. Maybe if people try to planting out of Gabon, maybe. But if it's only in Gabon, it will be difficult in the future. So we hope that they will use ibogaine, like a synthetic. If they use something like that, yes, and we will keep iboga for us in Gabon for the ritual, and people can use ibogaine outside of Gabon. It's okay.
May I ask how long it takes for the plant or for the tree? I don't actually know what it looks like. How long does it take for it to grow until it can be utilized, until it can be used or harvested?
Or something like after 5 years, 6, 7 till 10. After 10 years, you can use it, but it's a long time.
Okay.
Because we need the roots of the tree. It's not a big tree, So, and we use only the roots.
Wow.
Cool.
Thank you very much. And I personally will never stop talking about the Congo Basin. I think we can't talk enough about this very, very, very precious and important region on planet Earth.
It's a really, really important region. You're right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So Albin, your hand is up, and we're at about 60 minutes now, so we'll just ask 2 more questions and then we can close after that. So Albin, did you still have a question?
Yeah. So thank you very much, Aténougha and Coco, for this wonderful conversation. I'm Albin from Sweden, and I had these 3 small questions that kind of are tied together to an experience I had with iboga here in Europe a year ago. And the first one is also related to the Congo Basin, so I take it first. So I'm curious about the relationship between the Bwiti Missoko tradition and the pygmies of Congo, and if there is any connection in your stories of information passed between. And yeah, that's the first question.
Yes.
People, when they talk about yes?
Sorry, I thought that you were asking for clarification about the question, but you understand, so please go ahead.
No. Yes, it's okay. Most of the time, people try to know the relation, of course, between because people make a difference between Bantu, what we call Bantu, and pygmies. And they want to know when the pygmies, they transmit the science of the forest, because they the Bwiti is coming from the forest. And when they transmit the science and what is the relation now with the Bwiti? When we talk about the evolution, the universe, when the people, we can say pygmies, but when you go inside the Bwiti, and I hope you, Albin, you will understand more because it's good to go inside, then you understand. You understand that most of the things that we do is coming from somewhere. I mean, you can have a way to dance, you will see it with someone else before you. Like the Bantu, when they met what people call pygmies, it wasn't like, oh, I have the Bwiti and I share with you. No, it was not like that. It was a natural, evolution of things. What people call, part of the population called Bantu, when they met pygmies, like you can correct me, Coco, if it's right. Neanderthal.
No.
The people
The Neanderthal.
before
The Neanderthal.
Neanderthal. Yeah.
Well, in French, it's Neanderthal. I give this example, but you know that I like the example. In the book, they said Neanderthal, when they left Africa, after a moment, there's a big problem, and they survive because another wave of population coming from, I don't know, Indonesia, India, or Africa came, and then they can survive because there's a big problem in their community, and they can disappear, they can die, but they were, saved by another population who come like a brief, like another, something who can help them. This is inside the book, and the mix between Neanderthal and the second part of people who came create something. And Bantu and pygmies, it was a little bit like that. So the mix between the knowledge of the Bantu and the knowledge of the pygmies, it's a part of the story of the Bwiti. Albin. But in our stories, this is why I talk about stories. In our stories, when you see, for example, the gun, people will tell you that there's one guy who gave the knowledge of how to make a gun to a guy, maybe Colt, for example, Colt. Yes. Oh, Colt. Yes, he is the one who invented the gun. No. There's someone before Colt. There's someone before the one who gave to Colt. There's someone before. This is how the Bwiti. How is the Bwiti? Albin. Even when people talk about pygmies, they don't know how it starts. But it's good to talk about pygmies. It's important.
Thank you. The other are more practical, related to both my own journey and my connection with the indigenous tribe Wirarica in Mexico, that do the animal sacrifices in relationship to their traditional peyote ceremonies. Is this something that is happening in Bwiti Missoko as well, that you do the animal sacrifices in relationship with the ritual in any way?
Like all the ancient tradition, the sacrifice is inside the ritual. And it's good when you ask this question, Albin, it's good to have an idea of the principle of a sacrifice. For you, what is a sacrifice? Not only animal. What does it mean? And it's for what? If you have to do a sacrifice, what kind of sacrifice you can do?
For me personally, it could be anything that I offer, that is something I give away, something I own, or something of my energy, of my time, or...
And for what, for example, if you have to do a sacrifice, it's really for what, for example?
I would, from my experience of connections with people who are connected with this kind of way perspective, it would be to be for a blessing or a prayer or a healing or a good standing with the spirits usually.
So you'll sacrifice, for example, a part of you, just to be connected with people.
Was that a question? Sorry.
So if you have to do a sacrifice, for example, to sacrifice part of you, I don't know, physical part of you, or yes, it will be just, I talk about big sacrifice. It will be just to be connected with people, or is there something bigger than that you want to do?
Just to be connected with people or something bigger? I'm not sure.
Because when you do a sacrifice, this is why I say it's good to realize, what does it mean for you, a sacrifice?
I keep coming back to that it's about letting go of something or offering something that I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. Is there someone who can talk about sacrifice? Someone else, maybe?
Maybe you sacrifice your ego, maybe you sacrifice yourself, maybe, don't know, really.
What do you mean yourself?
You sacrifice that image you have of yourself to let a new one come through.
Believe me, Richard, it's difficult to sacrifice your ego. But just like that, it's not easy.
I know.
It's not easy. If someone can give me another example?
Yeah, maybe you can do it for your lineage, for your ancestors, for Mother Earth. If Mother Earth needs something in a specific territory, for the spirits, for the community, for the village.
Give me one or two real examples that you think, not a lot, please, Anna.
One to clear the lineage, the father's lineage, and help my ancestors.
So if you do the sacrifice, it will be for what?
For cleaning the lineage, like freeing the lineage.
For you, what does it mean, cleaning the lineage? Is it dirty?
No, it's something, pain, something that is hurting. And so you just transform that in love, in life, in something good by sacrifice, by initiation, for instance, an initiation, a deep initiation.
You know, Bwiti Missoko is not something like peace and love. You can ask to Coco and Tertius. It's not about peace and love. It's about the reality of life. And when you understand the reality of life, you understand that even in your lineage, even in your family, everybody are not like good. They are good and I have to save my family. No. You can ask to Angela. She knows that in the family, now everything is not pink. So if you want to save the world, your lineage, it's good to think about it, but it's good to be realist. You have to save yourself, Anna. First, you have to think about you first before to talk about the universe. So I want to hear someone talking about what is a sacrifice for him and what kind of not what kind, but what did he want or she want to do, and then she want to sacrifice something just because she want to do this thing, not only to save the world, no, something like concrete, like, yes, I want to hear someone talking about something like, yes, please.
Can I go then?
Yeah,
Can
go
you
ahead.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think for me, it's just very simple. It's just my own power, like sacrifice for my own power to get my own power back.
Back?
Mm-hmm.
You lost your own power?
No, it was like hidden. And was to get out.
Maybe you need a friend. A friend can help you.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need to sacrifice something for that. But you need a real friend, not a fake.
Sometimes that's hard.
Yes, someone else?
I guess it's an offering to ask for spiritual guidance and protection.
Protect what?
Sorry?
To protect what?
To protect the, how do I say, the body, to protect the spirit as well.
Which spirit?
The spirit that is in us, I would say, the spirit, the soul.
The soul of who? Of what?
Well, I believe that we all have that.
Yes, I understand. This is why I say to people, Bwiti Missoko is not something, is related to the element that of the universe, of course, but it's good to feel the element around you, inside of you, and around you, like people, like you, like, yes, something. And then if you want to change something about the spirit or things like that, you can do it. But it's good to relate the spirit to your environment, to yourself. And then you can change. When you see most of the people like prophets, when they do the miracle, like Jesus, like Buddha, like Mahomet, like all of them, they can use special vibration. When they pray, when they do things, it's a special higher vibration. But when you want to do it, you have to sacrifice things, and then you are able to do something to protect or to save or to do something. It's not only about thinking that, oh, I want to. No, you have to practice. And the Bwiti Missoko, during all the steps and all the initiation that you do, you prepare yourself like Jesus did. He did a lot of initiation, a lot of practice before to become Jesus. You have to do it. If you want to be like a soldier, when you want to become like the best soldier, you have to train your body and your mind. And it's the same when you do the Bwiti, the spirituality. It can be the Bwiti, it can be another spirituality, Muslim, anything. You have to train your body and your mind to make your vibration become higher and to receive more and more and to do more and more. So I understand when people talk about peace, love, save, thing. Yes, you can do it. The Bwiti Missoko will make you realize that you have to go deeper. This is why I say it's like telescope when you want to see further, or microscope when you go deeper inside of you, deeper inside of the universe. Bwiti Missoko is like a microscope. This is why when we talk, you say something, I have another question. I have another question because I want to go deeper and deeper. I want to show you that you have to check inside and inside of inside.
So we have just a few minutes left. I think we could have one more question. I remember there was Ninoa who had a hand up. I'm not sure if you still have a question.
Sure, yeah. Hi, thanks for this talk. My question is just, what role does community play in the ceremonies and in Bwiti?
The role of?
The role of community.
Yeah, the community. In Africa, we are a little bit with like some animals who live in community. It's not only in Africa. There's many countries who have this kind of way to live together, be together. Life here is like that. When you do a traditional wedding, when you have, if someone died in your family, people come. And if you have a baby, all the family participate. This is how it is in Africa. Community. It's not only inside the ritual, it's first a culture. It's not only about the Bwiti, no. It's first about our way to live. It's a way of life. And of course, we have the same when we practice the Bwiti. But it's good to know that the practice of the science, it's also individual. And sometimes it's a part. You have community, as I say, for example, the left, it's a special initiation for men. And the Niembe, it's a special initiation for women. But the Missoko, now it's men and women together. So sometimes you can practice your science alone. As Richard said, when we talk about intention and invocation, you can do it alone in a ritual. And it works, of course. But sometimes you need more energy, more vibration, and then you can call your family or your community to make the vibration bigger. So you can do it in the bus way. One, you can do it alone, individual, or two, you can do it with the community. And then the community is come from the culture of our people. So it's not specifically about the ritual, the community.
Okay, we are at 90 minutes. So I think it's a good time for us to bring our call to a close. But thank you so much for this conversation. Aténougha, thank you for your answers. Everyone, thank you for your questions. It was really, really, really juicy stuff, and I hope you enjoyed it very much. There probably are more questions that you have, and what we'll do actually is organize another talk, but this time it'll be a small group where you can ask Aténougha questions, and it can even be more personal questions as well about your life, about where you are in your process and perspectives on that. And we can have longer answers for your questions. So if you do have more questions, we'll organize this. I'll share the link with you and you can RSVP for that. So thank you so much, everyone. If you're interested in Bwiti Missoko initiation, there's small groups. They're very, very small groups. So there's just a couple of spaces left for the men and for the women. So if you are interested, I'd recommend scheduling a call with me soon, very soon. I'll share the link about that with you as well. But yeah, you're very welcome. Come join us in Gabon for initiation. It's from the 5th to the 15th of July. And Aténougha will be there, the community will be there, Tertius will be there. There's a few people in the group I can see here who are already initiated, and some of you will also be joining again this year. So yeah, thank you again, everybody. And yeah, let's be in touch about, possibly joining us on another call or joining us in Gabon. So thank you.